Kwaba, midende abnana ne homo wo say. My name is Devyn Nixon. I'm a family and cardiovascular nurse practitioner in Bellingham, Washington. I introduced myself in an ancestral language of mine called Tree, and I'd like to just thank our native hosts for introducing language reclamation as part of a healing journey. I'm standing here with like a ton of emotion, so I'm just going to take a second to get a couple of things out, because I'm already mourning the closing of this convening. So, yeah, thank you. Mario, I'm sorry. Yes, 1 second, I'm sorry. Thank you, Marco, for reminding us that we're just a vapor. That was beautiful to be reminded of in such a gentle way. Thank you, Stacy and Christine and Katie and Sean and David and so many people that we only get to do this with a couple of times a year. This room really feels like family. So yeah, about 5 years ago, a group of clinicians, doctors, nurse practitioners, and some healthcare administrators up in Bellingham, Washington, where I live, came together to talk about the problem of medical mistrust and anti-racism. For some of us, it's something that we have dedicated our life's work to, and for others, it was a jarring realization after the murder of George Floyd that we have a problem. So we came together and thought, we're going to put together a conference, and we are going to help clinicians and healthcare administrators understand some of the things in the space between us and the communities that we serve. We also decided that we needed to have an ask outside of just coming together and learning, but something to actually address the problem. So we created a scholarship for BIPOC medical and nursing students. And when I say BIPOC, please understand people who are white presenting, but Russian speaking, Ukrainian speaking, French speaking, are able to communicate and care for communities that are underserved are included in that. The first year we were virtual. It was incredible. We learned a lot together, and since then we've been able to meet in person. And one of the things that's always come up is, how do we keep this conversation going? How do we keep moving this work forward? How do we keep learning? Because we're not perfect as providers. We know that clinical care affects about 20% of our longevity, our health outcomes, and our quality of life. And that may not sound like a lot, but if we could fix 20% of a problem that affects everybody, that would be monumental. So, a couple of things that I want to point out to you all. There's a little half sheet over on the resource table to save the date for, I can't believe this, the 5th annual North Sound Race and Health Equity Conference. That's going to be Friday, May 9th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. To date, we've raised $144,000 for student scholarships, and we've given away $133,600 to 51 diverse scholars. And I'm sorry. Sometimes what just starts out as an idea and feels impossible, really is possible when we build bridges with each other and we put our hand to the plow and we don't turn back. 51 BIPOC doctors and nurses who are going to be practicing, and some already are, in the North Sound region, taking care of many of the communities that we've talked about over the past day and a half. There's more information over there on the table. I wish I weren't this way. If there's any other Enneagram type 4s that want to hug and cry in the hall, I'm available. After our first conference, we met in the living room of Dr. Kim Komayatsu. And we had just such a robust conversation. Liz was there, Rachel Lucy was there, myself and some other physicians and nurse practitioners, and we thought, we're not done. We need to talk about the things that we struggle with it's hard to say, when I saw my patient checking in with this name, my heart sank, and I thought to myself, here we go. It's hard to say, I don't know how to take care of this population because the chasm between medical mistrust and coming into the clinical space for care is so large, I can't do anything impactful in 15 minutes. So I'm really, really excited. I know I have 2 slides, and I hope one of them will come up. And even if you're not a clinician, I hope you'll hear me out for the next 4 minutes that I have left. CHETI, or the Clinicians for Health Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, is a new community of practice launching next week, next Wednesday, for licensed clinicians. It is a confidential space for licensed clinicians. Whatever your licensure is for, if we can find it on Provider Credential Source Washington, you can come to the group. We're going to talk real, and we're going to do some real work, and we're going to continue to change the health outcomes in our communities. Next slide, please. We're going to do this through a methodological approach to radical transformation. Educators, if you're in the room, the work of Dr. Yolanda Sealy-Ruiz is really geared towards racial equity in education, but this framework is so powerful for any of us. We're going to learn how to interrupt racism at personal and systemic levels. We're going to talk about that, what it looks like, what it feels like, what actions we need to take. My favorite thing in this framework is archaeology of self, where we deeply excavate and explore our own beliefs, biases, and ideas that shape how we engage in our work. And we're going to continue moving through these steps, if you will, all the way to critical love, which is what I feel in this room, which is why I can't stop crying. This is a community of practice that you'll have to register for. If you're a licensed clinician in the room and you want to scan that QR code, it'll take you to a registration page where we will confirm that you are licensed. And that's not to keep anyone else out of the conversation as much as it is to really create a space where we all have something to lose and can be vulnerable and honest with each other in this work. I think I could probably wrap it up there, but I'm just, again, so super grateful for this room and seeing all the old connections again and making new ones. And I don't know, it's a time where we're still here. We heard a speaker say that yesterday. My actual last name is a slave name, Nixon. What does that mean to a stolen African on stolen land, right? But we have so many things that we can bridge with each other. Watching the video earlier today, I heard so many things that deeply resonated on an ancestral level. They took us. We didn't know where we were going. Didn't know when we'd see our families again. Took our language. Took our spiritual practices. My gosh, I don't know what you know about the Black community and the Native community, but we're not doing so hot as far as engaging one another. But boy, do we have so many opportunities to bridge. And I hope that you all that have been here over the last day and a half have been finding your own opportunities and ways to bridge with other folks and other groups and communities in the room. Look forward to seeing you at our conference and at every convening that I can get myself to. Thank you.